Francis Ford Coppola's Megalopolis, a fable. By now, almost every cinematologist has had their say about this film. Many conclude it's the worst movie of the year. A few radical, probably insane theorists think it's the best movie of the year. To me, it is, and always shall be, the most movie of the year. It is Francis Ford Coppola's masterpiece. If you're bothering to watch a video about Megalopolis, you've probably either already seen it or already read a bunch about it, so I'm not going to spend too much time summarizing it. The film is too huge and too confusing. The setting is simultaneously ancient Rome and Shakespeare and the future and the 1920s. There are many characters. None of them are well drawn or necessarily well acted by realist acting standards. The film itself really defies all notions of realism or verisimilitude in its production, in its performances, in everything. It is, a fable. The film is utterly and completely unyoked from the idea of quality found in the mind of anyone but Francis Ford Coppola. The film is so painfully, embarrassingly earnest. It is completely out of touch. It is filled with obviously deeply personal diatribes about what's wrong with society today and how we need to fix things like great men. What can the active cinema viewer do about Francis Ford Coppola's Megalopolis, a fable? Truly, there's no choice but to see it and then see it again. There is no movie like it. The films, in my knowledge, which it most resembles, are silent epics, with the scope of its concept, its huge cast, its wacky themes. It throws us back to the time of movies like Intolerance, movies that are so long and so dumb and so weird and crazy to look at and crazy to try and make sense of. Francis Ford Coppola's Megalopolis, a fable, provokes a kind of discomfort because it's so obviously personal. Not personal in a way that reveals like intimate details of Francis Ford Coppola's life or unpacks the depth of his particular auteur neuroses. It is not personal in the way that is, we could say, fashionable or quote-unquote artistic. It is not a product of like great and purgative and redemptive pain or emotional suffering. It is personal in the sense that it is totally exposing and transparent and shallow and dumb. It is as close as we can get to a one-to-one transposition of whatever is bouncing around in Francis Ford Coppola's head onto the screen. It is personal in the way that when somebody stands up and their pants are riding low and you see a bit of their butt crack. It's personal like that. It's cringe-inducing. And yet, that fallibility, that foible, is profoundly humane. We have all stood up with our pants poorly affixed and exposed a little bit of our butt crack. And if you knew the whole course of a person's life, if you knew how many times they'd stood up and accidentally revealed their butt crack, it would be impossible not to feel some tenderness towards them. And in seeing Megalopolis, you can see the whole course, the surge and the seethe of Francis Ford Coppola's life and his mind as he gets close to the end of both. He is 85 years old. How can I not feel some tenderness for this person, no matter what a loser or a dick or a creep he is, when he says, without irony or hesitation or hint of cynicism, that we are in need of a great debate about the future of mankind? Because, we are in need of a great debate about the future of mankind, honestly. This movie, in many ways, sucks kinda hard. But it sucks kinda hard in the most amazing way. It sucks in that all the easy, dull, obvious things built onto films, plot, character, relatability, have been pushed aside to make room for a completely sincere love of the form, for experiment after experiment in how to convert feelings that sound silly and trite and small into words Our world is unjust. Our government doesn't work. I wish for things to be better. And then from words, goofy words, into mysterious and miraculous imagery, making the inside of Francis Ford Coppola's brain, melted though it might be, and it is utterly melted, beautiful. Nobody says what they're thinking or exactly what they mean, because that is the surest path to rejection and ostracization, or worse, fame on Twitter. There's too much inside everybody's fucked up skull. Everyone spends hours and hours polishing their bits and pieces into needle-sharp little barbs to glue up to their social media wall and impale anyone who walks by. And by contrast, Megalopolis is a completely blunt instrument, so completely uncurated for style or originality or perfection, and just screaming big, stupid ideas. I laughed the whole time through, both times I saw it. It's so funny how unwieldy and awkward it is. Megalopolis is an impractical movie. It has made and will make no money. It has no clear lesson to teach us and no clear moral to impart. But the arts of late and of always have been eaten alive by horribly practical people. Practical people who know with conviction that art ought to return at least twice, if not 10 times, the cost of producing it. Practical people who know that art ought to impart a clear and constructive lesson to the simple folk who fill the seats. But art is impractical. Art is something people do because the world is not enough. Because there's a hole in the world. Nothing will fill it except change. Francis Ford Coppola saw the hole in his world and he imagined something that would fill it. The fact that it didn't fill your hole is not enough to make it not worth making. It was bespoke for his hole alone. In the end, there's no reason and no right to be mad at Francis Ford Coppola. He paid for the movie himself, and he made exactly what he wanted. That he had a winery he could sell for $120 million helped a lot, and that's what you should really be mad at. Imagine a world where we all had $120 million or its equivalent in human freedom to make whatever movie we wanted. You could make something just as bad as Megalopolis, just as completely undeniably true to you, the most cringe-inducing part of you, as Francis did. And maybe it would fill your hole. If you can get one thing from Megalopolis, it should be that. If you start imagining that world, you're already farther in building the next utopia, the real one, than Caesar Catalina ever gets. In conclusion, dude, you gotta see Megalopolis.